Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Walks with Schla. And I'm not entirely sure what I was going to talk about. I know there was I think last episode, I actually ended up talking about something that I didn't really plan on, and there was something planned. So that's always kind of frustrating when that happens because it probably could have been better. But again, there was something that wasn't, I don't know, it just came up and then I started talking about it. And then I definitely thought of something else. I have another idea now that I may have talked about before, but I will probably proceed to talk about again. But I might not have actually talked about it yet. Now, I might have briefly touched on it in a car rides, which at some point, it doesn't really matter. A little bit of a status report. I had intended on leaving early today, and then, like, last minute, I just didn't. Because I really just want to try to push it. And so that's really thrown me off because, like, I've obviously kind of been looking forward to getting out early, and then, like, at work this morning, I made this, like, last minute mental decision, like, no, I'm staying late today. So I don't know. It's kind of affecting me. It's just been kind of like, it really would have been nice, and I still could leave really anytime I want. Like, I still could leave early if I really wanted to, but I'm probably not. I don't really know. And it's just, I just don't know. I feel kind of odd today because of that. I'm a bit tired. I really wanted to just rest this morning, and of course I couldn't. So there's that. And then I was thinking, well, it's fine because I just have a short day to make it through, and then I'll be good to go. But that obviously isn't what happened, and now here I am deciding to stay late, I guess. So that's kind of been a lot for me. And yeah, I don't know, like I said, I guess in general, I just don't know. I guess I haven't really been thinking about all that much or doing all that much. I guess in some ways I'm maybe a little calmer than before. Maybe it's a good thing. There's obviously have the recording as a hobby now. I'm really grateful and happy that I finally figured this out because I don't know what I would do if it wasn't for that. So there's that. And I just don't know. I guess I'm rolling with the punches, but I don't really have anything too electrifying to say. Or at least that's not what I feel like. And it's a shame because I had something I wanted to talk about, but I definitely forgot. I definitely, at this point, have forgotten. So that's just not great. But what can you do about that? What am I going to mention? The topic I was just thinking about is that thing I've said before about how people, and I would assume most people would value, like, the life of their own pet over a stranger, like a human. Maybe the people I've talked to are just crazy, but I don't really think so. I think it just showcases the way I think about things and how I guess it's very different or strange because I always just think, like, well, a human life is obviously the most important. It's the most sophisticated. It's the most valuable. A human has the potential for care far higher than an animal can even remotely have. So it's very frustrating to me because it really seems like everybody I've talked to, like, they just get so obsessed with animals to the point where some people like animals more than people. I've heard that before too. And I don't understand that, because that just shouldn't, that's just like false. It's like an incorrect statement. Like there is no it's not even particularly close, like the kindness a human can possess compared to the kindness a animal can. It's just, an animal just isn't really capable of that. And I guess it falls on this idea of innocence. Animals are innocent. They don't really, while a human does have the capability of being kinder or nicer, often that is not what is manifest, right? Like, a human can be very nice, but they're typically not. You know what I mean? Like, typically a human is not so nice. Their potential to be mean could be far greater. So I guess maybe it's the simplicity that some people like. And I guess if a lot of humans feel overwhelmed by complication, an animal is obviously just less complicated. It is a simpler thing to comprehend. And so I guess and again, I'm not really trying to be arrogant, but I'm just saying, since my comprehension is higher, it's like I just am more interested in humans, like, because I just don't. An animal is it's just not. I'm interested in animals. I like them. It's fun to learn about the different kinds, and from that perspective. But in terms of like valuing my own pet over a human life, I don't think so. And I don't really think it's that difficult of a question for me to answer. But I just think it goes to show how low people think about other humans' lives who aren't themselves. And it kind of shows and illustrates a lot of the problems that we have, because people are fundamentally still thinking very tribalistic, even if they themselves don't know it. That's what I think the problem is. Like, yeah, people are still thinking in tribalistic terms. That's obviously it's a hindrance, because I think I've dispelled before about how as much as it might be mostly evident, these ideas of like ownership or property, they're just not real concepts. They're like feelings that a human sees because we're incarnate, but there's no such thing as owner. You can't own anything in this world. It's like, it's yours, but it's only yours legally, and if somebody steals it and they get away with it, then it's not yours anymore, and it's only going to be defended if law enforcement defends it. It's like, but it's not really yours. And some people have a house and then they sell it and then they move to a different place, and then now it's another person's home. Same with cars. But it's just because you like consented to give it away. There's not really too much difference between the two. Especially because, especially like if you think about possessions in general, it's like, how many possessions do you even need? I mean, I'm probably a pretty accurate case of this. Like, I have so much stuff, but it's like, there's people who live and they have nothing. They just literally have nothing, and that's it. Right? And so what is, I don't know. You get where I'm coming from? It's just like the need to own and possess and to it's something that most people never even really get to experience properly, especially moving forward, because our generation in particular has had the stairs shattered from us, and then we're currently being pillaged by, the selfish class that came before us, who probably isn't even cognizant of a lot of these systemic reasons for why they're selfish. And I mean, maybe if they understood, they would care, but again, it honestly seems like a lot of people are really into these concepts of like ownership, and that's mine, and rah, even though it's like it's so outdated. Like, we should be way past that at this point. I mean, it's just crazy. But like I said, I think the conundrum always falls back to is like, there are poor people who are just not good people. That exists. And what do we see, or what do we value as a species? Is it progress? Is it kindness? Could it really be both? Probably. But there's a lot of things that are going on that I just don't think they should be. And again, I think I try to think about what the elites are thinking or why when they're doing this stuff, and I just don't know. I just realized I'd put this mic in my other phone, and when I put it in my other phone, the decibel was back up. So I mean, it's too late now, but these recordings could be junk. Yeah, I have to lower that dB. I mean, it should still hold, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just glitched and was back up to the middle again. But yeah, it's like, I just can't believe it, but I do have to wonder that, like, that you could, I'm not sure, because I haven't dug deep. I haven't like asked GPT, but I wonder if humanity really tried hard to make everything equal and or fair. I have a feeling it isn't possible for everybody to be like maximally nourished, for example. It's probably not. I don't really know, because as is, that's kind of, I don't know, obviously a lot of people live and they're malnourished, and that takes, I guess it takes strain off the system in a way, because usually food of little nutrients, it's cheaper and probably less environmentally impactful. I don't know why I said that. Like, I'm assuming that's the case. I really wouldn't be shocked. And so, yeah, it's like, there's a lot of people who are living now, and they're much less of a material burden. I don't, and there's all kinds of, I guess we would want to have as many humans as possible. I mean, I agree with that, but I think that it should have been more calculated. Like, I think I talked about this before as well. There was too much of a population explosion, and then followed by like people just not having enough kids. Like, I think things would be much better if it was just gradual. If people just had, like I said, I mean, everybody, maybe some people don't need to have kids, but just 2 or 3 kids, you know what I'm saying? And there was like a period of time where there was just tons, and it was like too much. Like, there was way too much of a population explosion, and it should have been steady, because I don't think I'm antinatalist. I think that you would want as many humans as possible to exist. I think that should be every goal of any human. I mean, I don't know. I think it's very like evil and kind of deranged for somebody to not want us to, flourish and prosper. But I think the caveat to that, and what we've kind of seen, is that now, well, what do you do when there's so many people and a lot of them are very inefficient, or they're not cognizant, they're not really grateful for that gift of life, and they're doing things that are bad for the environment, they're selfish, they're antisocial, they litter. Now it's like, well, and these are systemic issues really that should be addressed, and they're not. They're always addressed by more force, and that doesn't seem to really be the ticker. It's like healthy environments are the ticker, but when you have such an inequity, it's causing a larger percentage of people to just have like very unhealthy environments, and that's not really good for humanity as a whole. I'm assuming humanity would do better with broader access to better environments, but I don't really know, and I don't really. Again, like I said, I mean, I have mixed opinions about this, because I really do want what's best for humanity. I think that is how I would define my ideology, and it just doesn't seem like that's the case, because you either have people who are a bit too cold and who are a bit too like, post-human, which I'm very infatuated by the concept of a post-human or a superior human, but how do you couple that with like a love for humanity, without needing to like kill people and stuff, because that's literally what's going on, and I know it's going to happen. I'm just seeing things about how companies are firing like hordes of people, and that's inevitable given what AI can do, and we're not prepared as a population for this. We're not. We're not ready for this to happen. Plain and simple. Nobody's really prepared. We're still stuck in like, I guess about the the 80s. Is that what they say? They say that was like the last, or like we're fundamentally the same as we were back then. And I would agree with that sentiment, of course, because it's still like car, phone, TV, screen, like it's all the same things. I mean, they've gotten better and better and better, but we're not really utilizing them properly. And even as is, a lot of people have too much free time, and that's kind of causing issues. So you wonder, we're creating AI, and it's creating more free time for people, and we don't have like a clear solution or a plan for like, okay, well, how do we tackle this? Because we already conclude that, most humans just aren't built for that degree of free time. It's just not how humans are. They don't think that way, or I don't know. That's just how it is, right? Like we're not meant for this style of thinking. Now, again, fortunately, I'm blessed with the mind that I have, but a lot of people aren't, and you wonder like, what is the purpose? And I'm assuming the elite's decision is just to cut them off, but I don't personally think that's fair. I don't necessarily think it's right. Like I said, I mean, I've explored this topic a lot. Don't necessarily think it's fair or right, but it's one of those things, it's just one of those situations where I don't know that it's fair because people aren't like educated properly, or I guess the elites could say, well, we did give tech out, and people could learn and do this stuff, like, so I guess they figure us out of their hair. I think I've probably thought of that before, like, everybody now, no matter how poor, has a good amount of access to the internet, and it's like, that is the elites giving us the power to be gods, to literally, if you want an answer for something, or you want to comprehend something, you have it. And I think within reason, different people have different limitations, but hey, at the end of the day, even if somebody's comprehension is relatively poor, I feel like the elites could say that to God. They could say, hey, these people just mindlessly scroll TikTok. I mean, are they really, like, is there really soul there? Where's their soul? Where's their heart? You know what I'm saying? Or, and I guess that could be, it could be a justification, or why the elites think they won't be punished, because they're really giving us the power of godhood, and most people are just squandering it. Like, there's no intentionality with it. The potential that we have, people are not utilizing it at all. Society's a mess. There's ridiculous inefficiencies with coordinating, jobs, and what jobs even are, people's proximity to their home from their workplace. I mean, I could go on and on and on about this stuff, about how just messed up things are, and whose fault is it, right? Is it really the elites? Is it the elites' problem? Or can the elites turn around to God and say, what is your people doing? I just wonder that, because I wonder why God's letting what happen, why he's letting what's happening happen. And I wonder if it's all a part of a story, if this is all just some kind of crazy story that is playing out, and who's really, I mean, is there any justice to it at all? Does anything matter? No. I'm starting to get a little silly and carried away. I don't know. I mean, we're kind of out of time, but I think it's an interesting dialogue here. I don't know if it's really as good as I was a little happier. Oh, I just remembered what it was. It was like the IQ, EQ thing. I didn't even remember what I was getting at. But yeah, I mean, it was an okay conversation. I wouldn't say it was my best work, but I don't know. I'm happy with it. The time passed. And yeah, we got more doctrine chronicled, I guess. All right, well, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you, schla.